again. I must have drifted ashore. Somebody pulls me up to a seated position and asks, "Are you okay?" I think I nod. Try to get my bearings. The shelves of sweets, the freezer, the shop of a small, slightly run-down petrol station on the A13, unleaded at €151 per litre, diesel at 143. I had parked the Land Rover by one of the two pumps, got out and looked around shiftily, like a fugitive. Nobody. No other vehicle that had followed me into the petrol station, and none already there waiting for me. Relief. Through the shop window I can see the cashier inquisitively craning his neck. So I did something normal, inconspicuous. I filled up the car, locked the doors, and went to pay. "I bet it's just her circulation," I hear a man say. His face is merely a blur at first, but I suspect he's the cashier. I remember a red and blue checked short-sleeved shirt and the barked laughter coming from beneath his nicotine-stained moustache when he made a joke as he handed me my change. "Ha! An old girl like that is a real guzzler, eh?" He meant the Land Rover. "Not surprising. It's sweltering today," he now says, this time referring to me, the woman who just collapsed by his counter. Another barking laugh. Then he says, "Annalise, go and get a bottle of water." My vision slowly starts to clear. I try to get to my feet, but it's a very clumsy attempt. "Don't rush it." Moustache Man grabs my arm to support me. My right knee is shaking as if the joint had been removed and the void filled with jelly. "Oh, you poor thing," he says, fixing his eyes on my bleeding forehead. I open my mouth to tell him I'm okay, that I'm just a very sensitive, nervous individual, that apart from yesterday evening I haven't been behind the wheel of a car since I took my test, and that the drive here was sheer hell. Every time the road narrowed spelled an accident, every car behind me meant I was being followed, and that it was probably just a matter of time before my anxiety peaked in a full-blown panic attack. Toppling over the cliff edge and plummeting straight into the red water.
From letter number 9.
The new therapist has recommended I should write down my dreams. I don't know what good that will do, especially as I keep on having the same one. It's always the salt marshes of Aigues Mortes, again and again. Do you remember it at all? This image? Aigues Mortes, as it appeared on the June page of the calendar. Everything in the photo looked fake, as if it had been recoloured in the most disturbing way possible. An intensely white salt mound rising above blood-red water beneath a lavender sky. You asked me how water could be red. Looks like blood, you thought. An entire lake full of blood. No, I said, and explained to you that this strange colour was the result of certain halophile bacteria, and that halophile came from the Greek word for salt, halos. What I didn't tell you was that aigues mortes in French means something like dead water. I didn't want you to be afraid. Nadja. I shut my mouth without having said anything. I want to allay Moustache Man's concerns with a smile. Of course it was just the, as he called it, sweltering heat that triggered my collapse. There's no reason to suspect me of anything. My smile falters when, at that very moment, fear shoots through my body like an electric shock. On the floor in front of me is my handbag that I'd dropped, and beside it, fanned out like the frayed ends of an old mop, is the blonde wig. I instinctively throw my hands up, touch my head and feel tightly bound hair, my own. Attentive Moustache Man bends down, hands me the wig, and turns away politely when I put it on with trembling fingers. In the past, I often imagined myself as a blonde, and thus a completely different person. Now that the precisely trimmed light blonde fringe...